So welcome to Unapologetic Badasses online series. My name is Valerie Fuentes. I'm your host, and today I am with Kristen Dufendach. I gotta tell you, she is one of my favorite accounts on Instagram. I love the way she shares. It's so genuine. Like Kristen, really, every time I see you on video, you're totally chill. Just you show who you are. There is no hiding. There is no pretending. It's like anytime, any day, anywhere. And like I just really love your authenticity. So I wanted to bring you in here because I know we share the same purpose, which is serving this community. And you're doing that yourself with your business, or just all around, which is also what drives me. So thank you so much for accepting my invitation.
Oh my gosh, you're a doll. Thank you for those sweet words.
Of course. So let's start with, the basics. How and when did you start losing your hair?
So I come from a family of women who have very thin hair, and I have always known that this would probably be a part of my life. I was hoping that the genes skipped me, but I realized that it did not skip me when I was probably my early 20s in college. And we had a girlfriend who was really good at hair. She would braid her hair. And I noticed that my braid looked totally different than the other girls because I had, the wide part and it was thin. So I thought, okay, the gene didn't skip me. Like I have this. But at the time, we just knew it as really thin hair.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom was extremely supportive through all this. She helped me find Rogaine, Nioxin as a shampoo. So I just did that through, my early 20s. And this was before selfies were huge, right? So, and even smartphones. Like I had this tiny phone, so I wasn't taking pictures of myself. I know. I think we're about the same age. So, which was a blessing, right? Like I had no idea what the top of my head looked like. And my mom did. So my mom was really kind and, would say like, let's try this, let's do this. And I never thought it was that big of a deal because I had so much hair still. And so fast forward, mid-20s, I'm getting married. My mom set me up with a dermatologist appointment and was like, let's just try to nip this real quick. Like, let's just see what we can do. So the dermatologist diagnosed me, at that point with female pattern baldness. And I didn't know what that was. And it didn't really affect me because one, I didn't see the top of my head. Two, I still had a lot of hair. Three, I was getting married. I felt beautiful. All was good.
Right.
So, then, my wedding happened and my pictures came back and I just saw, a little bit of scalp. I think my hairdresser was amazing. But it wasn't until I had my first kid. And then, 3 months after my first kid, I had postpartum hair loss.
Right.
And that's when I decided with my new smartphone to take a picture of the top of my head. And I was so embarrassed. I don't know why at that moment I decided I should take a picture of the top of my head, but I did. And I think that's when there was like this onslaught of shame and isolation because I didn't know of anyone else's head that looked like that. And, all these girls around me were gorgeous and had gorgeous hair and I didn't. And I mean, it was extremely isolating and it just happened so quickly, even though it didn't. Even though this had been happening to me for a while, I didn't know it. And so at that time, I really tried to work on my mind, body, and spirit. I tried to work on all the things that I could control in my life, and that was raising a daughter, being a good wife, working, taking care of my body. And then I had my second child. So I was about 28 at this time. And then, when you get pregnant, you have awesome hair. I had great hair. I took a picture of the top of my head again. And I liked what I saw. It was all good. So I was like, woo, okay, I got this. Then I have him 3 months later, same thing, if not worse. And then at that time I was like, no, I want to have good hair. We are allowed and entitled to feel beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And like at this time it was, 2018. I was like, there has to be a solution. There has to be a solution. If there's not a solution, I'm inventing one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I found, alternative hair and my first piece of hair.
Mm. How did your husband feel about this? Because he was through this whole journey with you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Um, so a lot of this I internalized. Like, when I took that picture at the top of my head, I didn't share it with anyone. I just,
Mm,
I took that. And I didn't tell him that I had female pattern baldness because it didn't mean much to me at the time either.
right.
So everything I was dealing with was very internal. And so when I did speak up to him, um, it was like, where is this coming from? Like, what? Your hair's fine. You're beautiful. You're hot. You're good. Whatever. And then when I put my first hairpiece on, he hated it, and my dad hated it. So the two men that are most important to me in my life did not like it.
Wow. That must have
And
been really hard.
yeah, and it was because my dad was like, you're beautiful the way God created you. And my husband was like, you're good. I like your other hair better, and it's like people had just become so used to how I looked and still found me beautiful when I didn't find myself beautiful. And so that
Mhm.
I took that away as well.
Mhm.
And then I also took their feedback, but I didn't listen to it. I kept wearing hair and I kept buying hair.
Well, I mean, ultimately, I think it's for us, right? Or at least I do it for myself. I think that I need to feel good in order to just have a life, right? And enjoy myself. And I think that this definitely the hair definitely helps me, but I also believe that your mindset and how you're talking to yourself and your relationship with yourself is like the number one, because we can buy all the hair that we want, and if we're
Agree.
not in a good relationship with ourselves,
Right.
doesn't.
It won't do anything. It's like the worst kind of Band-Aid, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you gotta start with your heart, right? It's a
Yeah.
heart issue.
And so what was the first piece that you got? Did you get a topper or a wig?
So so I forgot to mention something kind of important. So right before so when I was like, there has to be a solution, I found because I was still at this point like obsessed with growing my own hair,
Oh
which
yeah.
I think is a huge part of a lot of people's journey. And so I invested in PRP. That's that platelet rich plasma injection treatment.
Where did
Man,
you do it?
what'd you say?
Where did you do it? Like what city?
There's actually a hair loss center in like right by my house, and so they did it. So a doctor administered it. I mean, they have it down to a science, and I was a great candidate because of my age, and I did have some luck there, and it did look better. But
Really?
then yes, but it wasn't. You didn't all of a sudden have like this Kardashian hair, right?
Right.
And at this point, so once I did that,
Well,
once
you
I
expected. You paid for the Kardashian hair. Yep.
Exactly. I mean, that whole treatment is like an amazing wig.
Yeah.
So once I got over my obsession with having hair grow from my scalp, found um I then found thin hair thick. That was a topper.
Mm,
And I loved that idea that, I wasn't clipping anything on. I was like putting like a headband on. And the ladies behind Thin Hair Thick are incredible. And they were so sweet. And they kind of like coached me through things I didn't even know I was going through. And then, like I said, I got diagnosed with female pattern baldness. I had no idea that there was even an androgenic alopecia
mm,
until Thin Hair Thick took a picture. I sent them, once I got my topper, I felt beautiful. It was human hair. I
mm,
sent them a picture, and then they posted it on their Instagram, and they hashtagged androgenic alopecia.
mm.
And I was like, what is that? And I clicked on it. And I mean, that's how then I found everybody: hair
Mm,
loss boss, fabricating fringe. And
right.
then I like Googled the term, and I was like, it's another term for female pattern baldness. Like,
Mhm.
that's just how different the world was.
Yeah.
So
And so how long ago was that?
2018. So
2008.
like at the very end, I got my first piece December 2018. So
And that was human hair.
that was human hair. It was the Thin Hair Thick topper. So they don't do clips. They just, It's just a
Oh yeah,
headband.
that's right. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. And then so you got one and started wearing same color, same style, right? Because
So
I think that's how we start. We start wearing our,
I
yeah.
just it was the same color. I tried to, like I said, I was over the obsession of it growing from my own scalp, but I still wanted it to look like me. I still wanted it to be my natural hair color. So, same color. I had it cut like how I had it. Um, you know, and then I got a high line, and I branched out with the Lexi. I got a Lexi, and I just, oh my gosh, I hadn't felt that beautiful in a long time. I felt like me again. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love highlights. Yeah. But yeah, I felt like me again. And then, as I started loving myself more, then, the people who had problems with my hair wearing were over it. Like my dad and my husband.
Well,
So
yeah, because you start reflecting how you feel. And I'm sure if they see that you're happy and you're confident and you're, just overall change in your how you're carrying yourself, people
yeah.
are gonna like it. They're gonna enjoy it, that you're being yourself, looking a little, I don't know, giving yourself an upgrade.
Yes. You
But
know what? Yeah,
you,
I
yeah,
know. I know. I mean, we could talk all day, but it's like wearing makeup. Like,
yeah.
so yeah. Yep.
No, it really is. And I think as long as we see it that way, that's what matters. Um, because if you buy hair because you want to hide or because you know, you're still feeling insecure, so it's like a I don't know, cover up, then it's different because you still know that you're hiding. But if you're, open about it and you're, yeah, just open about it with everyone, you're doing it for yourself, right? Like it's a choice.
Yeah.
And it's not coming from a place of I'm hiding or I'm embarrassed, I'm ashamed. It's more like,
Yeah.
hey, I want to wear hair because I like it, because I
Yeah.
enjoy it,
Because
right?
I enjoy it. Yep. And it does. I mean, my journey did start out like in secrecy for a little bit, right? Like, I didn't have an account immediately. I
Mhm.
lurked for like a couple, weeks, and then I created my own account. And then, it was private, and I was terrified of like slipping up and posting, something hair related on my personal page. And so I worked through all those things. I made myself work through them quickly because I just I kind of jump all in when I do things, and so I was jumping in, and yeah, yeah, it definitely like started off like I'm doing this to feel good, and then it became like, I'm also doing this because like there are a lot of women out there who have this, and we're not alone, right?
No.
And like some really hot Hollywood celebs are wearing hair. Why are we over here using Batiste tinted and like, so all about removing that stigma now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So let's talk about that, like the account. I want to learn more about your journey with that. So you opened a hair account with the intention to what? Like what was your idea?
so just to learn. So I got this thin hair thick piece, and I found this community, and I realized that not very many women had thin hair thick. Like a lot of them had these clip-in toppers.
Mhm.
So I was just learning all the different types of hair. I mean, some people were wearing wigs, but most were wearing toppers.
Mhm.
So I got it to learn and to talk about mine because, you get this beautiful piece. Like that was the most money I had spent on myself in a really long time. I have cats behind me that are fighting right now. If you just heard that. Now she's mad. But anyways, so yeah, I just got it to educate myself, and then I became inspired by these women, by probably all the same women that have inspired you. And then I like busted out of this shell that I was in, and my confidence soared, and I was like, I'm starting a business. I'm spreading this joy. I began treating my hair pieces, the only two that I had, like accessories. I started to see them as accessories, not like my crutch or like, my blanket, but my like an extension of myself, like how I would put on makeup.
Mhm.
And I treated them like accessories. And so that's why I started a business based off of all this, because I wanted to combine hair with all my favorite accessories. And I love earrings, and I love, I loved headbands and clips, and I became unable to use them because, they would pull your hair so all your scalp was showing or whatever. So I found joy in accessorizing with hair. And so that's
Mhm.
why, I wanted to start a business that showed hair with everything else that's very normal.
Yeah. And so right now, what so looking at the future, right? Because I'm so interested in asking you this question. So like you
Yeah.
started when before this was super big. Now, as you know, everybody, if you have noticed, everybody's speaking up.
Yes.
What do you think is the future of this? Like,
I think so. Right now, we see a lot of women who have thin hair
mhm,
or some form of alopecia wearing hair.
mhm,
Um, but there are a lot of women out there who are like very interested in what we're doing, not
mhm.
because they have hair loss, but because they love the ease that you can style your hair off your head, that you can, you don't have to dye your hair every 6 weeks or whatever it may be. The ease and the versatility they're attracted to. So I think, it's been a year. I think that in the next year we're going to start seeing people in this community that don't necessarily have hair loss but just want to wear hair. Don't you think?
I think it's gonna happen kind of like eyelash extensions. That it wasn't a thing and now it's like doing your nails.
Yep. That's
I
a
do
really good point. Yeah.
totally. All
Yeah.
right. What are your favorite accounts?
Oh, okay. So when I started, I gravitated towards the women who were just like, they had normalized it for themselves. They were just doing their thing. So I definitely made my Instagram following, or I was a follower to people who were like Hair Loss Boss, Fabricating Fringe, Brunette Wigs Place, or is it Palace? I think it's Place. Lisa, she does amazing reviews of hair. I love, and then I found these other women who are just like me, not necessarily like there yet. They were still normalizing it for themselves. And I have my friends, currently Jen. So I started off following these people who are just like badasses, and I
Yeah.
still follow them. They're still a huge source of inspiration. But now I follow like my girlfriends. Like I have my besties, and we chat, and you know,
And it's so I think so in this specific event I'm interviewing those women that started a long time ago and also some that have just started kind of like me. I mean, I haven't even I well, the thing is like my focus has been different also because of my background. Like my background is in psychology. Like I'm you know
okay,
HR. Like all my stuff has always been about mindset. So like that was my main thing. And so yes, I worried about the hair, but like I don't know, I haven't felt adventurous enough. Let's just put it that way. Um, and so and I just totally lost my train of thought. But so that I'm inviting them. So I'm definitely having Amber and Kelly, but I'm also interviewing women that are just starting to
love
think about
it.
it, and it's just so fun to watch them grow because I have been following them from the very, very beginning because they started following me, trying to get advice, right? And so, like, you exchange a little message, a little DM here and there, and then you start following them. And then
Yeah,
I've seen them grow to like, just this powerful women that like at the
yeah.
beginning were so shy. And they were asking me, like, what do you do with your hair? And where do you go? Da, da, da.
Oh,
Now I see them like, everywhere on TikTok and doing this and doing that and getting all this stuff. And now I am asking them for tips.
that's how
So
it works, right?
it's
We all need each other sometimes, different stages.
yeah, and it's just so cool to watch somebody going from like not feeling super comfortable to like actually advocating for other women, which is I think what has happened to a lot of us is that you
Yeah.
just fall in love with everyone, really, right? Because you can relate so hard that when people start sharing, you're like, oh my god, I'm so proud of you, and like what you said, like, right?
Go
It's,
girl, go, go.
it's really
I
awesome.
know. It's a natural thing to evolve, right? Like, I
Mhm.
mean, I always say this and it's so like creepy and morbid, but if you don't adapt, you die. Like you have like it's so good to let yourself evolve. And a
Mhm.
lot of times we're the ones standing in our way, not anything else. So yeah, you're right. I mean, to see these accounts evolve like this, it's awesome.
And I know that your specific hair wearing has evolved too, and you started with human, and now you're trying synthetic, and you're loving it.
Oh my gosh,
So tell
girl.
me more, because I know nothing about this.
And I got you. So, yes, and I love human hair. Like, I don't want anyone to think for a second that I'm like, sticking my nose up to human hair. I love it. I love it. For all of its, many perks. But, I think even right before COVID hit, I was really curious about synthetics, and I'm so fickle with my hair. Like, okay, I want to be a brunette and then I want to be a blonde, and it can happen like in the same day, right? And human hair that is just is really expensive, and it wasn't sustainable for me to like keep buying different versions of human hair, or varieties. So synthetic, it was more feasible. The cuts that they have and the coloring, I mean, it was just right up my alley. And I just kind of like latched on to John Renault. And
Mhm.
I got my first piece right before COVID hit. It was Haute, John Renault, and it was Heat Defiant. So Heat Defiant and synthetic, they're different fibers. Heat Defiant fibers, they're still plastic, but they can take a certain level of heat. And then synthetic, like you don't touch them with any heat tools. They just, they are basically styled. You can wash it and then you shake it once it's dry and it goes back to that style. So I have since Haute, I ruined Haute because I didn't know how to take care of her. So with synthetics, you can't brush, you can't, you have to use certain types of shampoo. So I ruined Haute, and then I got other synthetic pieces. I got Heidi and Jean Renault. This is Elle. I got Kristen, and their synthetic fibers are holding up well because I've been only using a comb. I've been using the right system, the shampooing system and detangler, and it just made my life so much easier, and I can switch like with how I'm feeling, and it's totally become an accessory, like to the finest extent of that term.
Mhm.
Whatever I want to wear that day, I just kind of, go with my hair and just kind of match it. It's fun. It's so fun.
So I always wonder, like, what does it look like for you, for hair loss spas, for Amber? I think I saw Amber's boxes the other day on a shelf. I wonder, like, what does your house look like? Like, where do you put all this? Like, what do you have? Do you have, well, like, how do
You're
you
so
hold
funny.
this whole thing?
So, oh my gosh. Okay, so I have a tiny closet. We have an older home. We have tiny closets, and so I'm kind of a minimalist by nature. So owning a ton of wigs never appealed to me,
Mm-hmm.
especially with human hair. So I keep my hair in boxes. Like I keep my main girls out. So I've been wearing Heidi and this is Elle. I've kept them out on just like a canvas head in my closet. But the other pieces I put in a box. I comb out or I wash them, put them in a box so that, if I want to wear them, I can just get them there and they're clean. But, you know, now that I found synthetics, I have way more hair than I probably would like to have. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to like get it, wear it for a few weeks or a month and then sell it because I change so frequently
And
and
you
I'm finding out what I like and so I
also,
actually have a very small closet. I mean, I don't like to have all my wigs out. Um, I mean, maybe someday if I had like this huge house with this huge closet, I totally would. But my closet is this big.
yeah.
So
So question, speaking of accessories, and for somebody that has never gone that far to try a bunch of wigs and stuff, like what other things, so for somebody that has never, that this is, they're considering to get a wig, what other things should we get? Because I've seen like bands, I've seen caps, I've seen all kinds of things. Do you use
So,
anything? Like,
so no, so I'm lazy. When it comes to hair wearing, I'm lazy. And that's part of the reason why I like synthetics, because I don't have to style. I don't have to
okay.
style it. And I've just been craving simplicity. So literally with synthetics, I just use the Got to Be Glue spray. It's like a hairspray.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't use a wig grip, and I don't use a cap. Um, I just put my hair in a low bun. I spray the hairspray, and then I put my wig on, and we're good. Like that's it. And then I use just a wide tooth comb with some detangler, and I'm done. Like it's easy. So,
That's
um, I mean, I have tried the whole wig grip and cap thing, and I wore a lot of um, you know, silk top wigs, and I think I tried to do wig grips then, but with these synthetics, I don't need that additional help. But human hair, sometimes you do need a little bit of help, like with your wig grip. But with
Mhm.
these synthetics, I just spray hairspray. I'm good because they're light.
And so compared to human hair, like how often do you have to wash them, or like how different is it?
Yeah, so the main con with synthetic hair is the longevity. It doesn't last as long as human hair. Human hair can last like I swear 3 years if you're good with your hair. If you take good care of it, and at least you got like a year and a half in there. I mean, if you're crappy with your hair, right? But with synthetics, they don't last as long.
Mhm.
And if you baby them, I think they can last a year, maybe just a tiny bit more, but you have to baby them. Because I ruined a piece and I only had it for like 2 weeks. So you have to know how to care for them. And so that's like the biggest difference. And then, human hair, I don't find it as tangly. So longer hair, human hair, it doesn't tangle. Synthetic, it doesn't tangle as much, I should say. It does tangle
Yeah,
some.
it does. It does tangle.
It does, but not like how a synthetic does. So if you had a synthetic, down to here, and you're wearing clothes, that cause friction, it's gonna get tangly. The fibers are gonna fray. So it is something to think about. So I usually get synthetic pieces that are like a little bit past my shoulder or above, just to kind of cut down on friction and wear.
That's a really great tip. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I mean, you see these synthetic pieces that are like long and gorgeous, and they can be just limited time, and you just have to be careful, right? You
Right.
just have to,
Maybe get them for like a wedding or a special
yes,
occasion, like that.
yeah, you just kind of, and you gotta baby them and just take good care of them.
Right. Speaking of babies, so you with your kids, are you concerned at all? Do they ask questions? Like, what do you
Ah,
say to them?
so funny. So when I first started wearing hair, like I mentioned, I was pretty secretive about it, and I had my first Highline topper on, and it was gorgeous. And I was walking down the street, I was in my car with my daughter, and we stopped and we saw our neighbor, and my neighbor was like, "Oh my gosh, your hair is gorgeous." And my daughter from her car seat was like, "It's a wig." I was just like, "Oh my gosh," like, "Come on, girl. I wasn't ready to talk about it yet." So she forced me into talking about it.
Oh,
Like if I wasn't going to say something, she would tell somebody. She was 3 at the time, 3 or 4. So now, and it's become a huge part of my son's life. I mean, it doesn't even phase them. It doesn't even phase them. Like,
actually, children don't care.
they don't care.
I
They
think it's
don't.
fun.
Yeah. I mean, my daughter calls it, she calls toppers hair tops, and then she calls wigs wigs. My son doesn't even care. Like, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's adorable. I saw somebody the other day playing with, or a child playing with the new Barbie that you can change the
Yeah.
hair. So that's
cool.
another thing. I don't know if you've seen that, but I also think it's pretty cool that Barbie came out with a Barbie with alopecia, and you can change her hair, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, we're definitely getting there. I love
Yeah,
it.
totally.
So I want to know if you had like one piece of advice that you could either tell yourself, like going back, what would you do differently, or just to somebody that's going through this right now that they're feeling kind of lost.
Yeah. Okay. So my piece of advice is you can do hard things. So there were so many mental hurdles that I crossed. Like, okay, I can't talk about this with this person. I would tell myself, and then I think I got to a point where I was like, no, you can talk to this person. It's hard. It's hard to talk about this, but you can. So I would try to tell myself every time I felt myself like dig my heels in, whether it be wearing different colors, different styles, or not wearing hair at all. I mean, I have been known to walk around looking like a hot mess. I
You're
mean, I
pretty
talk to
good at that.
neighbors.
I
Yeah,
love it.
like it's crazy. Like I talked to neighbors yesterday looking disgusting, and when I was talking to somebody, I I felt myself be like, "Oh my gosh." Like run in the house right now, but then I was like, "No, you can do hard things. Like just talk to her, like we're all we're all just people." And I think I if I let myself, I'd stand in my own way all the time and I wouldn't have joy. And now I have joy because I tell myself like, you want to be blonde, just do it, right? Like, okay, you want to have short hair, just do it. Like, now is the time.
Yeah,
And just don't worry about all the other stuff. Just
yeah,
do it.
yeah. So funny you said that because so before this one, I was wearing it's called a smart part from Hot Heads, and it's
Yes.
pretty much a topper, but it's eh, how do I explain it? It's like sewed in with your bio hair. So like
Sure.
my bio hair will go through the like some little holes. So anyway, and I will get it adjusted every month. Um, so I wasn't used to like removing this, every day. And I think it was end of last year in December or something like that. I went to the hair salon and I saw some regrowth and I was super excited. But you know how it is, like you like see it get better and then it goes away and then it falls again. Like I mean, I've been through this a lot. So, but I was really excited, and that day I was with my sister. She was visiting from New York, and she was like, "Valerie, oh my God, you healed yourself. This is so great!" Like, we were crying. People in the salon
Ah,
were crying. Like, everybody was so excited, and that just got me like very, I don't know, like fired up. I was like, okay, maybe this is happening. Maybe I did, manage
I
to
healed. I'm
this.
healed. Yeah.
Yeah, and so my hairdresser was like, "Well, so what do you want to do?" Because she saw that I was excited and all this stuff, and I was like, "Well, I mean, I don't know." And then she said, "Well, do you want to try? Like, do you want to just go home and see how you feel?" And so I took a deep breath and I was like, "Okay, sure." So that night we had a birthday party, and she's like, "Don't worry, like I'll make it look good." The 3 strands of hair that I have. So she
Yeah.
curls it, puts a lot of pigments, like I
Right.
don't want to say it looked bad because it didn't look bad, right? Like it looked like I didn't have a lot of hair. But
Yeah.
I felt comfortable enough to leave the salon, that's a huge step.
Mhm.
But then when I went to the party, as I was having conversations, I found myself being like really proud. Like I was just like so excited that I was able to have conversations and just be like, hey, like this is me, like right now. So I was
Love
just
it.
like, I want to talk to everybody, like talk to me, like
Yeah. I'm over here.
yeah, because you just like when little by little you almost like start empowering yourself, right? Like and just like
Exactly.
looking back and thinking, I wouldn't even share that I was losing my hair. I wouldn't post a picture. Like if you look for a picture of me from I want to say 2007 through 2012. Actually, I challenge anybody to find a picture of me
Love it. Love
because
it.
there were no pictures. Yeah, I just wasn't comfortable. Like there was a time in my life that I was just not comfortable.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I just did a video removing that thing by myself because my hairdresser was not able to help me. And I'm just like, well, here I am. And but it is also coming from that place of like, I don't want anybody else to go through that
Okay.
pain. You know what I mean? Like I spent like, and you did too, you just shared with us almost 10 years getting
Yeah.
comfortable. Why waste 10 years of our lives?
I know. I know. But it's like we almost had to
Right.
feel the way we do now.
Mhm.
Because what you're describing is you loved yourself. You finally loved yourself, without hair, without like the extension of yourself. You loved who you were to your core.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, and like I wouldn't change it for anything. But also because of that, I'm just like so determined to change it for other people because it's not right. I don't think anybody should go through this for 10 years, right? When there's so many of us that can share experience, that can share the tools that work, that can share, I don't know, what helped, what didn't, you know what I mean? Like
I know.
there's 6.8 million people with alopecia in the world. Come on, there is no reason for you to feel alone at home. No
No.
reason.
No. No.
Yeah. And
I
just
agree.
like it's so funny because also I've had this idea of doing something like this or supporting this community somehow, but it literally took me uh also almost 2 years to get to this point because I was thinking, okay, so but how do I get to these people? How do I talk to them? Where do I find them? Because we hide.
I know.
So unless you're in that secret group where nobody can see who's in the group, you don't know where to find people with alopecia, literally, because you hide for years, and then it's not until like, I mean, I'm not speaking for everybody, but like usually that's the thing. So I
I
think
know.
right now with all of this, I just want to make sure that people know that they're not alone.
No. No, you're doing a great job. And I mean, a lot of it's generational too. Like a lot of these younger generations, they're in a better spot because they see more, right? And they can get connected like this. These older generations of these stoic women, I mean, we all see them like grandmothers and great grandmothers who don't have hair, but they're just plugging along.
Mm-hmm. That is so true. That is so true. I've actually, after the first summit, a lot of women reached out, like older women,
Yeah.
and that was the comments that I got. Like, it's so nice to see, younger women like you talking about this.
Yeah. Yeah. I know it. I know it.
Same thing. And then, so we're here to change the world.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's do it.
All right, Kristen, it's been amazing to have you. Thank you so, so much. Is there any last words that you want to share with us? Any tips, comments, anything?
No, I mean, just have fun, right? Like it's all fun. Life is so short. So let's have fun, you
Yeah.
know?
And if for those of you who haven't started following Kristen, please do. Super fun. You'll love it. So it's lost, not lost, right?
Yeah. It's a
Okay.
tongue twister. But LOSS and then KNOT and then LOST.
Beautiful. All right. Well, thank you so much, Kristen, and I'll see
Girl.
you on the next interview.
Thanks, girl. Appreciate you. Bye.